Hello, everybody. I am Goldilocks. We are back trying to make up for yesterday. We are currently at 16 of 20 subs. So if you do want to sub on TikTok specifically, that is the goal. We want 20. So we just need 4 more. I set this like a week ago, so that's pretty good. I am into this. Again, we are trying to make up for last night's weirdness. That was the weirdest live I've ever had. I learned my lesson, okay? Don't try to compete with a Kamala rally. That's the lesson to be learned from that. So we're not going to do that again. We're just going to join them and watch the rally like everybody else, like all the good little children, because... But it was weird last night. We only got the bottom dregs of Trump supporters. It was wild. It was crazy. Look, if y'all want to come up here and talk about how Trump embarrassed himself on Rogan, totally fine. If y'all want to come up and talk about why you're voting for Trump in general, that's what we do here, okay? I want to hear why you think Trump would be a good president somehow when he wasn't before. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear from you. Come up in the box, okay? You don't got to be scared. We're just building up Trumpers here. I'm probably going to go sub-only chat at some point, right? Once we get a few of y'all in here. We'll see. Trump was killed on Rogan. You're right, by himself. Trump was unalived on Rogan by himself. Hilariously bad. Hilariously bad. Super boring. He couldn't answer questions. Like, man, how embarrassing. How embarrassing. That was supposed to be the turning point for y'all. I'm so sad for you. I really apologize that your king couldn't come through, but maybe he'll get another chance. Maybe he'll get another chance for one other interview, maybe, in the meantime. I mean, he's too afraid to interview on any networks across the aisle, right? So he's got to go to somebody like Rogan because he knows Rogan isn't going to give him a tough fight, right? He can only talk to right-wing interviewers anymore because he's a little scared that he'll be fact-checked. A little scared. He was good before. You are delusional if you think these are better now than 4 years ago. What's better now than 4 years ago? What are you referring to as these? And yes, I'm doing way better now than 4 years ago, for the record. So, like, if you're looking for anecdotal evidence, there it is. We have one guest request from somebody whose TikTok is telling me their name is blank. Let's see what's up here. Oh, okay, it just took a little bit to load. David, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. How old are you?
32.
And pronouns?
Male.
So he, him. Who are you voting for?
Trump.
How on earth can you bring yourself to do that after all he's done against the American people?
I just don't think Kamala's the better candidate out of the two.
So you think Trump trying to undermine and strip the rights of Americans is better?
It's impossible. It won't. The House won't allow it. Senate won't allow that to happen. There's a
won't
lot of
won't allow what to happen?
For the accusations that people bring up against him. About
like what?
That he wants to overturn the government and all that.
So you're fine with him trying because you think it can't happen?
He can't try. There's no trying.
But he already has tried.
Did it happen? Did it come even close?
He did try, yeah.
Did it happen? How out of 1 out of 10? How close was it from happening?
5 or 6.
5. Okay.
Yeah, literally all it would have taken is his vice president agreeing to do the unconstitutional act he called for.
Right.
Literally. Do you know anything about that situation?
Are you talking about the on the Capitol?
No, the false elector scheme that led up to January 6th.
You realize, like, are you talking about the 2020 election, correct?
Yeah.
You realize he only lost by 42,000 votes.
What? Whoa.
That's it, right?
Do you know how he was trying to win?
You realize that there has been a report that the FBI.
Do you know how he was trying to win? You got to answer my questions, guest.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. Actually, you do.
I don't follow.
David, you're not the center of this conversation. I am. So you answer my questions, or I move on to the next person. That's how this works.
I'm absolutely do not know. Can you please?
Okay.
Elaborate?
So he tried to instate false slates of electors for 7 different states. That is, he was generating false electoral votes, which would have undermined the will of every single voting American in the United States.
Okay.
The only saving grace was that Mike Pence refused to commit the act he wanted him to because it's blatantly unconstitutional.
Okay. So you ready to hear my side on why he thinks either way he lost.
Do you acknowledge, one, that it's unconstitutional?
Correct.
Okay. What do you mean either way he walked?
No, what I'm saying is either way, whatever you look at it, like you'll get Trump people that say he didn't lose, and then you got normal people that are like, yeah, he lost. There's nothing you can do. But do you think that the government should step in on elections?
What?
Do you think the government should step in on elections?
Give me an example. In what way? What do you mean?
Okay, there was a report done about the Biden.
Because this I'm talking about Donald Trump doing this, right? That is the government stepping in on an election.
Okay, so do you think the government should step in on an election, yes or no?
Now actually provide the example. I just wanted to make sure that you knew I was talking about the actual presidential incumbent trying to undermine the votes of every single American. But go on with that in mind, because that's fucking outrageous, right? Can we agree on that?
Yes.
That's the worst thing that any president has ever done, probably.
So I don't remember the site, but I know it was an independent third-party site. So it was on either side, didn't matter who, whatever, liberal, I think. Trump only lost by 42,000 votes out of 5 states, correct?
I don't know the actual figure on that.
Okay, he lost by 42,000 votes out of 5 states.
I'll believe that for now, and then I'll look it up later.
Okay, so he lost by that many in five swing states. So there was
7 swing states called into question.
Well, I think it was only 5 though. Maybe, I don't know for sure.
There were 7 he was calling into question. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so what happened was the FBI blocked all information about a laptop from his son.
Oh my god, this is such a boring fucking argument, dude.
Hang on.
So you're talking about Hunter Biden now.
Hang on, let me finish.
Sure. This is going to be fun. This is definitely not going to be fun. Go on.
So there was that report done.
Yeah.
That would have changed if that information would have came out that the FBI blocked all information. If that information would have got out of those states, 1 out of 4 voters would have changed their votes.
Says who?
An independent third party.
Okay.
So with that
which one? Who said that?
I said earlier that I don't remember the site.
Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, you're just pulling that number out of your ass.
Right, so I just randomly
Trust me, bro.
Information.
Yeah, actually, it's easy to make that up. Yeah, I could say that three-quarters of voters would have changed their decision. That doesn't make it true.
Okay.
So you either have a source that I can look up later to verify, or it's literally a non-point.
I can't look it up on my phone since I'm on this.
Sure.
Would you, add a weird question, I know this is, would you still vote for Biden as of sits right now if he was still running for president?
He's not. Why does that matter?
I'm just asking for just out of curiosity.
I would definitely still vote for Biden over Trump, yes. I wouldn't like it.
That's all I need to know. That's why you can't believe any Harris people, because
why? Explain how Trump is better than Biden. You still haven't made any case for Trump, and I've already made ample case against him, and ample case that you're not a patriot for supporting him, which is the goal here.
The fact that you would still vote for Biden as it sits right now
over Trump.
just says it all. You got
I would probably vote for a bag of rocks over Trump. Because at least a bag of rocks won't try to strip actual US citizens' rights away.
So you're saying a bag of rocks is better than Biden?
A bag of rocks is better than Trump, is what I just said.
But you just said you would vote. You would vote. For
I would vote for a bag of rocks over Trump, is what I said. Are you okay? You listening? You keeping up, bud? You keeping up, Davey?
Okay. Well, I got better stuff.
Okay. See you later. I got more people in the box. I don't give a shit if you stay. How you all doing tonight? Tonight, this night that we're talking to each other on. 21, how are you doing?
Hey, what's up? What's up?
Not too much. How old are you?
Ooh, I just turned 21 actually. I turned 21 2 days ago.
Nice. So that's in your name, 21 MFer.
Yeah.
What are
I put 21 because
yeah.
I was gonna do something else, but they said I had to do MFER, and I was like, all right, bro, whatever.
All right.
Well, I mean, see, I'm more of a I'd say
first, I do this for
conservative,
everybody.
like middle.
First, I do this for everybody. What are your pronouns?
Oh, my fault.
Pronouns.
Okay. Oh, shit. He, him, I guess. Yeah.
Nice. And I assume you're voting for Trump.
But yeah.
Okay. How on earth can you bring yourself to do that when he's a fascist who's trying to strip away the rights of actual U.S. citizens?
So this is where I stand. For the obvious, this is my first election. You know, I'm a youngin. Well, since I started learning about politics, I've always been in the middle, leaning towards conservative. It would have been nice to see another Republican candidate, but at the same time, I just can't see through to Kamala Harris like everyone else. I just see Hillary Clinton. I just can't do it.
What?
If they would have gave another Democratic nominee, you know, younger, if we got younger people, I probably would have voted Democrat. But I just can't see through it.
What do you mean you just see Hillary? What does that mean?
I mean, it seems like the same repetitive thing. I mean, look at how Hillary was doing. All of the news sources were on her side, posting about her, you know, trying to make her seem like the next president. And then what happened when we got to the Electoral College? Trump won 306.
Yeah, but she did win the popular vote. So polling was right.
I mean, I understand that, but we are not a nation that relies on a popular vote because of some states like California and Texas.
We absolutely should.
I don't believe in that because I think that would just cause chaos, and you'd have states like South Carolina, North Carolina being
Do you know
furious,
do you know what having the electoral vote opens the way for?
Yeah, I've heard the arguments. I mean, I'd be fine with anything as long as I'm more about your side and my side being friends. I don't really like arguing and stuff like that.
But Trump tried to create false electoral votes and have them certified.
Yeah, I understand that, but I mean, I just get stuff on my news feed and stuff and saying that Georgia miscounted.
Hold on. If you understand that, well, the truth is that Trump tried to get Mike Pence to certify false slates of electors for 7 states. That is true. We know that.
I mean,
that is blatantly unconstitutional. Hold on. That is blatantly unconstitutional and would undermine the vote of every single U.S. citizen. Do you agree?
But Mike Pence just got a check cut to him from Kamala Harris for endorsing her. So, I mean, I'm not trusting him on anything he says about 2020. I'm not trusting anything Trump says about 2020.
Are you kidding me?
Anything the administration says about 2020.
You don't believe Trump when he says he did that?
I don't believe. Well, first of all, I don't believe that the 2020 election was right down the middle fair.
He said,
I mean, there was
chat.
The government
hold on, 21. Hold on. 21. Hold on. Chat. This guy just said, I won't believe Trump when he talks about the 2020 election. And
well, I don't. Trump, it's 2024, right?
Trump says,
I don't care about that stuff
Trump
anymore.
says that he literally tried to unconstitutionally overturn 7 swing state electoral votes.
I thought there was only 5 in 2020.
No, there were 7.
Oh, okay.
So well, I mean, you literally do not care that he was trying to manufacture electoral votes.
I mean,
that's a blatant undermining of your right to vote.
Not really. I mean,
it absolutely is.
Do I vote in the Electoral College? No. Is it 2020?
Okay,
No.
so
Is he running against Biden again? No.
So
It's
because
2024. Let's talk about something else, huh?
no,
Let's
shut
talk
the
about
fuck up.
immigration.
Now,
Let's talk
shut the
about
fuck
how
up.
Kamala's
You're gonna
getting
talk
all
about
Americans killed.
no, shut the fuck up. You're gonna talk about what I want to talk about. So you're up for your vote actually not mattering at all. You want somebody to be able to just elect themselves with electoral votes, right? Right? You want a president to be able to just manufacture their victory.
Okay.
Like a fascist.
Okay. Well, you
That's
just
actually
created a
what you
fascist
want.
move by muting me, so.
I don't give a fuck. You were just talking over
Well,
me.
you just created a fascist move by muting me, so.
Were you not just talking over me like I wasn't saying
I
something?
mean, I was just pulling a Democrat. Look at Destiny. Look at Dean. Look at Parker. They
Get
talk
the
over
fuck out of
everybody.
here. You're boring. I want to have an actual conversation, okay? We can deal with you for a little bit, but if you're not going to actually have a conversation, and if you're not going to be genuine about whether or not you support somebody just installing themselves as the next president of the United States, then yeah, because I love how Trump supporters are trying to say that Kamala was installed as the candidate, but they won't admit that Trump was literally trying to install himself as the president. Tammy, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. How old are you?
I'm 64, gay woman.
Nice. Pronouns?
Woman.
So she, her. Who are you voting for?
Yep. Voting for Harris.
Hell yeah, based.
Because there's only one thing that we need to pay attention to, and that is what Donald Trump wants to do if he gets in office, and that is impose tariffs. And he don't even understand what tariffs are.
Yep.
And the people obviously don't either.
Yep.
Because that money
we'll get to
comes
that,
out
I'm
of
sure,
our
for sure.
pockets.
Yep.
Right?
American importers pay it. Yep.
Yep. Well, they can't tax foreign countries, is what he's saying. That's not how tariffs work.
Exactly.
So everything that we buy is going to reach record high as if they're not high enough already. That's my argument. And I think that's the only thing that we really need to look at. These are words coming out of his mouth. This is what he wants to do. And that side is too stupid to understand what it means.
Yep, exactly.
So that's my rant.
Well, Tammy, good to have you up. Glad to have you around and look forward to seeing you back for sure.
Well, thanks for listening.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
I'm paying for my doggo's leg amputation, the big C cancer in the bone. We got to get it removed, and it's $5,000 for the best of the best in our area. So we're not taking chances. So JD,
Yo.
how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Pretty good. How old are you?
21.
Pronouns?
He, him.
Nice. And who are you voting for?
I'm voting for Trump.
But how can you bring yourself to do that?
I mean, my biggest thing has always just been the immigration thing and just the handling of it during this administration. I'm not
Okay.
even gonna lie.
Okay. So yeah, how do you feel about the Langford border bill?
I mean, it never got voted on, so I don't really have a feeling.
How do you feel about it?
Again, why does it matter? It never got voted on.
Do you know anything that was in it?
It basically, it was going to be giving more funding to Border Patrol agents, add more judges, start funding the wall again. Again, it never got voted on. It got replaced
Okay.
by a
Yeah.
Democratic bill.
Why didn't it get voted on?
Because it got replaced by a Democratic bill.
No, because Republicans refused to vote on it.
Nope, it got replaced by a Democratic bill.
What the fuck are you talking about? Nope.
I mean,
wrong.
look it up.
Absolutely wrong. So no, there was the original border bill, right? That included provisions for aid. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about the Langford bill. The Langford bill never got voted on. It got replaced by a Democratic bill.
No, it didn't. You're absolutely wrong.
But I'm not. Look it up.
It didn't get replaced by anything. It didn't get. Nope, you're wrong. It didn't get replaced by anything. JD, why are you lying to these people?
Bro, can you look it up then?
JD, why are you lying to these people?
Go to congress.gov.
Can we have an actual conversation, JD, without you trying to derail?
I mean, I'm giving you a source. Am
JD,
I not?
JD,
Sir,
can we have an actual conversation without you trying to derail this?
Can you look it up then?
So how, again, answer my goddamn question this time. How do you feel about the Langford border bill?
I thought it was a good bill.
Okay, cool. So why didn't Republicans vote on it?
I mean, again, it got replaced by. Look it up. Just go on.
Why didn't Republicans vote on the
Because
bill
it
that
got
was
replaced
good?
in committee. It
It
got
did
replaced in
not get
committee.
replaced, you fuck.
Bro, look it up. Just go to.
What are you
Congress.gov.
fucking dumb? It
Are
didn't
you
get
dumb? Are you dumb?
replaced
Go to
by anything.
Congress.gov.
Bud, it didn't get replaced.
Here, do you want me to pull
You're
it up for
claiming
you? Do you want me
false
to pull it up
things.
for you? Do you want me to pull it
Yeah,
up for you?
sure. Read me the other bill. Sure.
Oh my God! I can go? I can go to Congress.gov right now and show you.
Yeah, read me the other bill. Yeah.
What other bill? S-4361 that did get voted on, the Democratic bill.
Read me the other bill that you say replaced the Langford border bill. Yeah.
I can just tell you the bill. S-4361.
Come on, this fucking guy, dude. Let's be normal about it. Let's just try to be normal. Let's one person try to be normal about this for a little bit, okay? Just try to be normal about this for a little bit. Let's talk legitimately about something for a little bit. I know I'm asking a lot from MAGA, but just for a little bit, okay? Lino, how are you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? How are you?
Pretty good. How old are you?
I'm 25.
And pronouns?
He, him.
And who are you voting for?
I haven't decided, honestly.
That's outrageous.
Yeah, I know, right? It's kind of hard to look at both of them, argue and fight. So, and I don't really look into politics. I kind of just look at the nature of us just being humans and trying to, get along. So, it's kind of hard to.
Okay, who's making it harder to get along, Kamala or Trump?
Well, I mean, I guess we have to look at how are they treating us, I guess, as human beings.
Yeah, that's a good place to start. Yeah. Who's worse?
I guess like defining what is good and bad and where they get their morals.
Okay, who's worse?
Who's worse?
Yeah.
Seeing Trump's already and his allegations of like things and like how he treated people.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't seem he's a good person.
Yeah, it seems he's pretty bad, right?
Yeah, right. So I mean, when I look at Harris, I haven't seen any bad publics about her, except I think it was a talk about I think they had she had like a press conference, and I think some guy was like shouting like Jesus' name, and then she like called out like you're at the wrong rally.
So those people, it was a group of people chanting lies over and over again, and at one point they happened to say Jesus is Lord, right? So, but they were chanting lies at the top of their lungs over her actual speech. So, yeah, pretty fucking rude.
So you're saying that when they were chanting Jesus is Lord, they were just saying other things, or I'm confused?
No, they were chanting lies, and they happened to also say Jesus is Lord once.
And then I guess she just took it as a way of like that's a wrong rally, or
no, they're MAGA. They're literally just there to undermine her speech.
So like from your point of view, where are you getting that evidence from? Because I mean, I kind of saw a lot of multiple videos on how.
But they're literally standing there chanting lies over and over again. The word lies.
I think as soon as he said Jesus is Lord, she automatically responded like that you're in the wrong rally.
But no, they had already been yelling lies over and over again.
In the video I don't really see that at all.
Okay.
Actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, you can say that, sure.
Right. But I mean that's the only thing I see. I guess you could say like I try to go based on like us just.
Are you Christian?
I don't want to say I'm Christian, but I like the teachings of Jesus Christ.
Okay. Do you think the teachings of Jesus Christ belong in law?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, absolutely not.
Why not?
Totally anti-American.
Why is that?
Keep your God out of my laws.
I don't understand. Like, can you give me?
Keep your God out of my fucking laws. That's why, because freedom of religion, the First Amendment.
Yeah, no, but you're acting with emotions now. Like, what's your standard?
No, the First Amendment is my argument.
I don't understand.
I am protected by the Constitution against your God being forced into my laws.
So I'm just going based on like the goodness of.
And I'm just going based on what the Constitution actually says.
Well, you're going based on your own, like,
No, I'm going based on religious freedom, which is protected by the First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States of America.
You know why people get in arguments? Because, they have different opinions. I get that.
No, people get into arguments because they try to put words in each other's mouth, which is what you're doing here.
I'm not. I'm literally trying to make you understand that
You
the
say you're
reason.
just going based off your personal beliefs. No, that's not what I'm doing. I'm going based on the actual rule of law put forth by the Constitution, right? Are you anti-Constitution?
No, I don't think so. I
Okay,
mean, I'm not sure.
Trump
Yeah.
is. So if you support him, you are.
Which is what's that? I'm sorry. I'm not really well familiar with the laws and stuff. I'm kind of
Okay, so
sort of
the First Amendment is
yeah.
freedom of religion, press, assembly, petition, and
Okay.
speech, which is the one everybody says.
Right.
There are 5 provisions: religion, press, petition, assembly, and speech.
So in a way that's is it against it or I'm confused?
Yes, it is absolutely against promoting a specific religion in law.
So as human beings, we're supposed to go based on votes, and that's why we're doing this election, right? I'm assuming.
What do you mean we're supposed to go based on votes? What are you trying to say?
So I'm saying like if everyone doesn't like this party, they vote for this party instead because they like their opinions better, right? Like
Then what?
Like we're deciding on what's good and what's bad. I'm saying.
No. Are you asking if the winner is automatically good?
No, well, yeah. Basically, I'm saying that kind of in a way. Like the people that are in
Absolutely
America,
not.
the people that are in America right now, we're trying to vote what's good, right, for the world, for America. I mean, correct?
Yeah, theoretically, hopefully everybody is.
So like,
but Trump supporters obviously are not. So
yeah, for sure. But we could also say the same thing for Harris. For
no, we couldn't.
So like, you're saying that Harris is a good person? Are you
Yeah,
saying that?
far better than Trump, at least.
Is that from just like the evidence that you see different from whatever Trump is voting for or going for, in a way?
Yeah, policy and character.
And what's the good that she's doing, if I may ask?
I like her tax policy. It's far better than Trump's.
Okay, yeah, I mean, not getting changed with taxes, yeah, that'd be good. What about the abortion?
Yeah, AB, she wants to codify Roe v. Wade, which was the only federal protection for bodily autonomy rights in that regard.
What is that?
Bodily autonomy?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Yeah,
I'm
so
trying to get educated.
bodily autonomy is the concept that only you can decide what happens to your body. It doesn't need to be legislated. Nobody else gets a say at the end of the day. Only you get to make the decisions that affect your actual body.
I got you. So in a way, like, if a woman wants to kill their baby or get an abortion,
say at least say unalive, and you can say abort.
Abort, my bad. Okay, abort. So if a woman wants to have an abortion for their child, that is considered good?
It's her choice. That's my argument.
So let me ask you this. If you have a daughter and your daughter, eventually has a kid, you're going to give her that choice to, murder her child?
It's her choice. I don't own her.
Which is, it's kind of odd. I mean, as a father, like, as God is a father to us.
God is not real.
I mean, you could, yeah, I guess that's your opinion. So yeah, that's fine.
God is not real. Her body is not my body. You agree?
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
Therefore, I don't get any say in what she does to it. Do you agree?
Nah, I disagree on that. Yeah, I guess.
So you think you own your children?
Well, God owns us. So in a way.
So again, we're talking about actual legislation here, right?
Yeah.
Keep your God out of my fucking laws.
See that, and I guess that's where we have different.
You have to be able to logically explain why a law is a thing, right? You can't explain it with God because we have religious freedom. You cannot force your God on the other citizens of the United States through legislation. We are protected against that via the First Amendment.
Yeah, I get that. So I'm just trying to let you know that, is that even good though? Like, as human beings, is that good for a woman to do that thing that you said because it's her own body?
It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. It's only her choice. It doesn't matter. Nobody else's.
So how do we try to make this world better if we're trying to make it good? I don't understand that. Then.
So better is allowing people to do whatever they want or need to do with their own bodies.
Even if it's bad?
Yeah.
Wow. See,
because why the fuck should you care or have a say?
Why not? We're supposed to love each other like human beings. Like, we're not animals.
Yeah, so loving each other is letting people do what they want to with their own bodies.
That's not true. If someone,
Sure.
let's say the child wants to,
You're-
commit suicide. Like, mom, I want to die. Are you gonna let them do that? I'm just trying to make sense on what you're trying to tell me.
Why is it so hard to understand? Why on earth should it be so hard to understand for these people?
I mean,
it's because God has been promoted so ubiquitously, right? God is the bad part of this conversation. If we just took God out, we would be able to have a legitimate conversation.
Okay, let's just take out God and let's just talk about good and bad.
You can't do that though.
Why not?
Because your concept of good and bad is, what does God think is good or bad?
No, but like, let's just consider you and me as human beings. What's good for human society?
What's good for human? I don't care what's good for society. I care what's good for individual human beings.
That doesn't make sense, because if we want to grow as a human, like as a nation, as Earth, shouldn't we try to help each other out and work each other?
What do you think is good for society?
Well, to at least get to help others and build up together and make
then
the
do
world
that
better and bring peace.
Then do that. Who's stopping you?
No, I am.
That's do what you want with your own body.
I get that, but that's why I'm having this conversation with you about it. Like, I want to be peaceful about it.
Yeah, do what you want, and don't legislate rules against other people's bodies.
It's not even rules. It's more we're just having a discussion. So you have the ability to disagree with me.
No, the root of this discussion is Trump is limiting human rights. That's the root of this discussion.
I know. I'm not voting for. I haven't said anything. I'm not voting for Trump or Harris. That's what I'm saying.
This is why I need Trump supporters up here. Please only request if you're a Trump supporter, because it's just going to get to, I don't even support Trump. Yeah, right. Yeah, you do. You're going to vote Trump. Stop fucking lying about it. Out fucking rageous. After all that, you're going to try to tell me you don't support Trump? Get out of here. Sarah, how are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Pretty good. How old are you?
37, 36 by now. I stopped counting.
Hell yeah. Pronouns?
He, she, her.
And who are you voting for?
Well, that's the thing. You just said you only wanted Trump supporters, and I only wanted up here to be able to go after that last guy you had up here.
Fair. You have a little bit to tell us why you're voting for Kamala then, if that's the case.
Well, aside from democracy and bodily autonomy being on the chopping block, aside from that, the way that they want to gut and cut Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security, I've been telling my friends and family that if he wins, we should go ahead and pick out my urn. And that's some real shit right there.
Yeah.
I was diagnosed with a chronic blood cancer that has no cure, and the only way I'm staying alive right now is because of Medicaid. And if that gets gutted, I've got no medicine. I've got 2 to 5 years.
Yep. Yeah. Heavy as hell.
I mean, if that touches any bases with anybody, if you've got friends, family, no matter their age, whether they be 36, 37 years old like I am, whether they be 88 years old and retired, they're on Medicaid, they're on Medicare. And if that gets cut, you'll see an immense rise in deaths just from that alone, not even touching on women's health. And we've already seen the effects that has caused. There's women bleeding in parking lots. There's children being orphaned because their mom died. There's women who wanted families who can no longer have children now because the detrimental effects left behind because they weren't able to be treated. And there's just so much on the chopping block that I don't understand how this is even up for debate anymore, why it's so close. And I just gotta give you kudos for doing this every day with them. I don't know how you and other people like Jones and Bishop and Mishi for Change, I don't know how y'all stay sane every day, because just tuning in, whoo.
They're wild, right? I don't exactly have more patience. Wild. I just keep doing it, right? So I just keep bringing them in. have a good one, sir. Great to have you around.
You're up there struggling with this guy, and as a woman who is a rape victim, who had an abortion because of that, it touches home for me. And for us to be debating about something that isn't legislated on men, I mean, honestly, women shouldn't have to pay taxes anymore because we do not have equal protection under the law.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just wild out there.
Well, Sarah, have a good one. Good to have you around. Looking forward to seeing you back.
Hey, yeah, thank you. I appreciate your time and keep doing the good work.
Of course. All right, Trump supporters, get up here. We need you. We need to talk to you. We are raising money for Doggo's leg amputation. It has to happen. It's expensive. It's not fun. Not at all. Beck, how are you doing?
Jay Sec, what's up, bub?
Oh, Sec. Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. Jay, can I just call you Jay?
Sure.
How old are you?
28.
Nice. What are your pronouns?
He, him.
And who are you voting for?
Big Daddy. The
I
big
assume
T,
you
bub.
mean Trump?
Yeah, that's what you wanted up here.
Yeah. Okay. You could just say his name. It's all right. So
Okay,
Trump
well,
supporters are not patriots. Make a case.
Trump supporters are not patriots?
Absolutely not.
Okay, aren't there currently Republican and MAGA supporters fighting in Ukraine and Israel?
Who's fighting in Ukraine?
They're on the borderline, aren't they?
Who?
Republicans and MAGA supporters.
Okay, why did they go over there?
To fight for your freedom.
To fight for my freedom?
And everybody's freedom, yes.
Really? So who sent them over there?
The military, the government.
No, our military isn't over there.
They didn't send themselves over there. Otherwise,
They
it would have been there.
they actually did.
Okay, so if stuff hits the fan and Kamala Harris becomes president, can we say that it's our body and our choice not to die for your freedom?
What? Yes. Yeah, you can quit. Yeah,
Okay, cool.
obviously.
Well, I got another question for you. Back to what you were talking about, religion and God.
Do you
not
think,
being-
hold on, do you think that all military members are Republicans?
the ones that are currently at war and dying for everybody? Yeah, I think Democrat and the voters are not currently at war. They're not defending anything. They're just currently staying stationed.
Do you know how the actual U.S. government is supporting Ukraine right now?
Tell me.
Through funding.
Okay.
That's it. That's all the actual government is doing.
And who's funding Ukraine? Are you supporting Ukraine?
I am in support of Ukraine, yeah. Heavy.
Okay.
Are you?
I'm on the fence.
On the fence between Ukraine, the country being invaded, and Russia, the country headed up by Putin, who is a dictator?
Yeah, because they're not my people.
You're on the fence. Okay. All right, sure. So if Putin was running against Kamala, who would you vote for?
Neither.
If Putin was running against Trump, who would you vote for?
The big T.
Okay, at least you wouldn't vote for Putin above either one of them, right? But you
No,
would
'cause-
vote for
because
Trump, who is
Putin's
a
a
fascist.
dictator.
But you would vote for Trump, who is a fascist, over Kamala. Trump, who says he wants to be a dictator. Trump, who has already stripped human rights away. Trump,
haven't
who
seen
is
any of that.
anti-constitution and has called for getting rid of the entire thing. Trump,
No, yeah.
yeah, he literally has in tweets. Yes.
No, but hold on. Let's go back. Let's go back
No,
to God. I wanna
nope,
talk
you're not.
about
Nope,
that.
you're not. You're not glossing over that. He has
What's
called
on the
for
border?
getting rid of the Constitution.
Bro, on our license plate, on our quarters, on your pennies and your dollar bills says everything.
Do you
says
know when
God
that was
we
added?
trust. Do you believe in Islam?
Do you know when
Sherlock?
that was added?
Do you believe in Islam?
Do you know when "In God We Trust" was added? Yes or no? Do you know?
1776 when the
No,
Constitution
absolutely
was
not. You're hilariously
Oh, no.
out of touch.
Okay, when was
The
it?
1950s.
made. Okay.
So let's not forget history, right? Let's not erase history. That's what you guys are about, right?
No, the Democratic Party is about erasing history.
Yeah, I said let's not erase history. That's keep up, man. Let's not erase history. That's what you guys are about, right?
Right.
Yeah, so it was added in the
'cause we want-
1950s. The founding fathers wanted this country to have religious freedom. That's why it's written
Yes.
into the Constitution in the very first amendment.
Yes.
So keep your God out of my fucking laws.
We'll keep the LGBTQ out of our laws.
No, they're actual people.
Oh.
Your God
okay,
isn't an
so-
actual person. Thank you so much for the galaxy. Thank you so much. Your God isn't a person. The LGBTQ, the fucking LGBTQIA plus
What?
community
Right.
is made up of actual human beings. Do you agree?
Right. But listen here. Once God was taken out of schools, and once God was taken out of
God
the
shouldn't be in
courthouses,
schools.
the LGBTQ took over, and they
Bud,
blasphemy
nope,
and
no,
blames
absolutely
for being
not.
religious and all
Absolutely
this
not.
other stuff.
How? What the fuck are you talking about?
So what you're
What
saying?
the fuck are
and
you talking about?
I'm talking about what your buddy said earlier about how that he said that without Medicare they would die. Without being
Are
government
you
assisted.
so pronouns were she her, so you can just say she.
He, them, they.
She. What the fuck are you doing? What are you
Wait,
doing
hold on.
right now?
Hold on. So a female that wants to be a man is called a they, them, not a
What?
she.
What are you talking about? What are you
Are
doing?
you a he?
What are you doing right now? Are you okay?
You-
Are you like
Bro,
short circuiting for some reason?
You seriously can't even have a conversation, man.
Jay, I asked you for your pronouns and they're he, him, right? I'm going to refer to you as he.
Okay.
The other person's pronouns were she, her. Refer to them as she.
I don't know why you're getting so triggered about that, man.
Because you have to show human beings respect on my live or you're going to get kicked. If you're not willing to show every single person who has been on my live respect, you're not worth talking to. You're a non-human. You either show everybody respect or we don't show you respect. That's how this works.
You didn't show that last guy respect that was a Trump supporter.
Which one?
Or wasn't a Trump
Which
supporter
one?
when he
You
said
have
he wasn't?
I talked to a lot of people. You have to explain who.
Two guests before you. Me.
The one trying to bring God into legislation?
Yes.
Yeah, because that is blatantly unconstitutional and they refuse to acknowledge that.
Okay, so should Sharia law and Islam law be a part of America?
That is religious law. Leave it out of our laws.
Right. But why is it? Why
This
is it just
standard is
Christian-
across
why is
the
it
board.
just- I know, but why is it just Christians and God? Why? What about Islam?
No, I'm talking to you. You're a Christian. Therefore, I'm saying keep your God out of my laws. If I was talking to a Muslim and they were saying their God's laws should be our law, I would be saying the same thing, right? It's not a double standard. It's not a gotcha.
Lino, that was his name. Lino.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You understand that it's not a gotcha. I'm just talking to you.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so why should God be taken out of the laws?
God
hold
isn't.
on, I got-
God shouldn't be in the laws to begin with because of religious freedom.
What about Satan?
Religious freedom again. This is not even productive now. You're not understanding. No deity should have a sway on our legislation. None of them. Do you feel where I'm coming from?
Yes, I do, but without religion there would be no laws.
That is absolutely not true. I don't have religion,
yes.
and I have a strong moral compass.
Okay, well, you sound like the type that would rather have a Satanist church next door giving out free abortions, is what you sound like.
I would rather also have the option for somebody to go to a Satanist church because of religious freedom, right? Because we
Okay, so
have
you're
rights.
You're more in line with Satanists than Christians.
You're really not getting this. No, not at all. I want both to be options because we have the right to religious freedom. How are you not getting this? This is the First Amendment. Have you not read any of the Constitution?
Yeah, and it says the right to, not
Religious freedom.
not the opposite.
What?
It says the right.
What does that mean? Yeah, the right to practice any
have your
religion.
freedom. Yeah.
Any religion. So yes,
Right.
also the opposite.
Okay, but basically what I've been hearing from the left is that the Islam law is more
You're not hearing that from me. So
profitable
how about you
in
talk to me?
America.
How about you talk to me?
Okay, all right. So why aren't Trumps not patriots?
Trump supporters are not.
Trump supporters are not patriot. Tell me why
Trump
they're not
supporters are
patriot.
not patriots because he's openly anti-Constitution. He wants to undermine the Constitution and specific amendments. If you support him, you support that. He already has stripped bodily autonomy rights away. He's not going to stop there.
Wow.
Wow, what?
Just
Are you
like-
going to
just
talk?
Just like you said that he was a part of Project 2025.
I never said that. I purposely
Yes, you did.
don't.
You said that 3
No.
months ago.
No, I
watched you
did
in a
not.
live
I
on somebody else's live,
no,
dude.
no. I purposely do not
I'm
bring
gonna
that
find
up.
the video and I'm going to make.
I
I'm gonna
hope
make
you do.
videos
I hope
with
you
your
do.
face on it.
I hope
And
you
what
do.
said.
Actually,
I'm gonna
I
make
hope.
sure people know
Jay,
who you are, man.
Jay, listen for a
You want
second.
to get popular?
Listen for
I
a
already
second.
know I'm pretty popular.
Jay, how many followers do you have?
Oh, not in that sense.
Yeah, you're pissing in a bucket here. So let's take it
Got
easy, bud.
18 K followers right now, talking me about stalker behavior, bro, giving me attacks, calling me a traitor. I mean, they're attacking me. You got people on here that are attacking me.
This
and it's me
guy's
and
so oppressed, chat. He's so oppressed.
Oh, the
We
victim. Here we
all
go. The
need
victim
to
mentality.
laugh.
So oppressed.
You're the one throwing
Yeah,
around the
here we
victim
go.
mentality.
We all
Here we go
need
again.
to laugh.
Bud, baby bottle pops. All right.
But I do think that Trump supporters are patriots. I do. I
Okay,
think
well,
that
they're not.
dying
So,
for your freedom and all of Democrats.
I don't care what they're dying for, Bud. I don't
Y'all
care
have
what
not
they're
lost
dying
your
for.
lineage. You haven't
Okay,
lost any
so
of your family members to war.
I literally have one.
You're a liar. You haven't.
Sure. Yeah, you can just claim anything you want. We have plenty of people in the box here, actually, so let's move on. Because at that point, dude was crashing out. Couldn't even hold a simple conversation. Again, paying for Doggo's leg amputation, it's rough. Anything you have laying around to help out would be greatly appreciated. We're almost 50% of the way there, though, so it's definitely going. Definitely going. Long hair, dude, you lost, bro. Oh, I love that. Oh, I love these people. They try so hard and get so far, but in the end, yeah, okay, if you think I lost, it's because you're a Christian and you want to see your God in our laws. That's the only way you could think I lost that. And you're, again, not a patriot. Jim, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Pretty good. How old are you?
33.
Pronouns?
Patriot.
Actual pronouns, Jim, or you're leaving.
I'm a man.
He, him. Who are you voting for?
Got it.
Who are you voting for? Thank you,
The
Trump.
one that all patriots are voting for, Donald J. Trump, buddy.
Okay, make a case for you still being a patriot after supporting somebody who's anti-Constitution.
Okay.
That's a
Well,
pretty silly take.
What is?
Thinking you're a patriot when you're supporting somebody who's anti-Constitution.
Well, you think that what you're doing here is productive, so
So do you want to make a case, or are you just gonna like try to be like, you're wasting your time? What's a bigger waste of time, fan?
No, I'm not- I'm not saying you're wasting
can
your
I
time,
call
I'm
you
just saying-
fan?
call me what?
Can I call you fan? Because you're a fan, right?
You can call me whatever you want, buddy.
Okay.
That's your freedom.
He's a fan, chat. He's a fan.
Just like
He
I can
loves
call-
me.
Just like I can call people whatever I want. That's
You
my
think
freedom.
you think what
Freedom
you're
of
doing
speech.
is productive, he said, and then he said, oh, Jesus Christ. What's a bigger waste of time, doing this or watching it?
No, I'm just getting on here to talk because you say you act like there's this great big moral compass around Kamala Harris that just
Kamala.
all moral. Kamala, that all people
Thank you.
that all people should be voting for her that are, you know,
That have a
that
moral
have
compass, yeah.
decent. How so? Because she is just as slimy and greasy as anybody else.
Oh, sure. Do you care about women?
I do care about women.
No, you don't.
I have a wife and 2 daughters.
You don't care about them having ownership of their bodies, apparently, if you still support Trump.
They do where I live.
Oh, really?
Oh, really? Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So they don't in at least a quarter of the U.S. now because of Trump directly. So,
Well, you know, that's another thing that we have freedom over is where we live, right? Right.
oh, so the women should just move so that they still have their rights?
I know if I didn't like if I lived at a place like that, that's what we'd do.
So you're saying women who don't like that their rights, their human rights have been stripped, should just move?
What do you mean? They don't have to live there to begin with.
Jim,
I don't like what
Jim,
I don't like
again,
what they do. I don't
let
like,
me,
I
let
don't
me,
like what they're doing in,
let me,
I don't like what they're doing in some other countries.
Jim, let me
I ain't gonna
reframe.
move there.
Jim, shut up. Let me reframe this in exactly the same way. You think that women who have at this point, because of Donald Trump, had their bodily autonomy rights stripped, their actual human bodily autonomy rights, ownership of their own bodies, you think that the argument you're
Strip
making
that
should be
from them.
just move?
I'm saying that Kamala, the only reason
No,
she's
no.
going your way.
Yes
is
or no?
because
Is that
she's
what you're
trying to gain
saying?
your vote, buddy.
Jim, is that what
She
you're
got
saying?
you hook, line, and sinker.
Okay, so you,
Am I
so
saying
you,
what?
you're saying that women, again, I'll say this again for you, Jim, you gotta answer the question. Is what you're saying that women in states where it is now illegal to do what they want with their own goddamn bodies should just move? States in the United
that's
States
what I'm saying.
where it has
Yep,
been
that's what
made
I'm saying.
illegal to do what they want with their own bodies. These are United States states where it's been made illegal
Yep,
to choose what happens to their body. You think they should just move?
That's what I'm saying.
Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
Okay. You know what else is disgusting?
What?
Kamala saying that we have no troops in war zones, and then troops have to be like, well, no, what the hell are we? Where are we at? While
So
they're in active war zones. Thousands of them.
Okay, so
Thousands of them.
do you know what
They're
the
people too, just like
Jim, do you
transgender,
know
they're
what the
people too,
Jim, do you know what the legal definition of a war zone is?
What? What is it? Where bombs are flying over your head?
Yeah, we don't actually have any troops in active war zones as designated by the federal government, right? But
You're full of shit, buddy. You're full of shit. You are so full of shit because
Jim,
there's
shut
soldiers
up.
that are in
She
those active
also,
war
I'm
zones.
not
Quit
done
acting
yet.
like you know more.
Jim, shut up. I'm not done yet. She also did apologize for saying that because it is very insensitive, right? So she did apologize publicly for saying that, right? Can you acknowledge that? That she, even though she was very careful to say something technically correct, it's also very insensitive, right? So she apologized. I invited you to unmute.
That there's people that are so dense-minded like yourself that
Were
they'll
you
eat
in
that
the? We couldn't hear you.
I said that there's people that are so dense-minded.
Oh, you have the. I'm a Republican. I'm a Republican.
I said there's people that are so dense-minded.
You have the. I'm a Republican. I'm a Republican.
I said there's people that are so dense-minded.
I'm a Republican. There we go. All right. He hightailed it. He hightailed it due to the echo. He hightailed it due to the echo. No, I'm not a Republican. I was saying it for the bit. It's the never mind. Oh my God. We have people in the chat saying, "No, you aren't." Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God, dude.
We all need to laugh.
Oh, my doggos are having fun back there. Speaking of my doggos, leg amputation, cancer in the bone. So it's expensive. It's not fun. Yeah, when the guest develops an echo, you can take advantage of it by saying something that they would say, right? Yeah. Trump supporters, they just don't know what's happening. So we are at 16 of 20 subscriptions for the sub goal. That's so close. So if you're even if you get to the point where you're considering sending a galaxy, it's less expensive to just sub. Just do that instead. Stick around. Have fun. You'll get access to like stickers that you can use, right? We are just making it through these people because they're literally not connecting. We're trying here. We're trying to get somebody up. The Hero Day is this person's name, and they're also not connecting. It's not their day. We have like 20 more people in the box, so I'm not worried about it. Somebody's gonna hit it. Courtney, thank you so much for joining the team. Thank you so much. Saying, how are you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Pretty good. How old are you?
I'm 23.
Pronouns?
He, him.
And who are you voting for?
I'm voting for Trump this year.
How on earth can you bring yourself to do that after all he's done against the American people and the Constitution upon which this great nation was founded?
Honestly, maybe the Constitution needs to be made some changes. You know what I mean? Especially since
we can do that. It's called ratification and amending.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So we do that.
Yeah. So.
But he wants to get rid of it
altogether.
Yeah, he said that.
Well, that's kind of wild. But
yeah,
I'm not gonna lie to you. I voted for Biden like 4 years ago. So it's just I think
there's no way you voted for Biden and now you're voting for Trump.
Yeah, no, I voted for Biden, man. Like, you know, I was like kind of.
That's not believable.
No, I'm not even lying to you. Like, I was a registered Democrat.
Okay,
but,
it's not believable. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I could present facts, but you know, I was a big Andrew Yang fan, and what's called. It's like the whole left, man. Like,
you like UBI?
Yeah, Universal Basic Income. Yep. I was kind of a big fan of that.
There's no way you're a Trump supporter.
No, yeah, man.
If you like UBI, there's absolutely no way you could possibly support Trump.
Man, I switched over just because just it's the way the country was back then. You know what I mean? Maybe it's just the nostalgia. Maybe everything was, you know, it's like probably not, you know, correct. But I think being a Trump supporter nowadays, like, you know, is you just want a better future. You know what I mean? And I think what's called Trump will bring America back to the norms.
How?
Well, for sure is the border. You know what I mean? The border. You know.
So he called to stop the only legitimate legislation we could have possibly gotten passed for it.
During that time, I believe he wasn't in office, and there was a bunch of like amnesty.
Okay, so no. So the bill was stopped because he called for Republicans not to vote on it. Specifically, it had wide bipartisan support until he called for it to be torpedoed. He said, "Blame me if this fails."
Wow. Well,
so why are you not blaming him?
From what I heard most recently was that there was a bunch of amnesty offered to some illegal migrants and stuff like that. So he didn't want to pass that. And honestly,
are you talking about the asylee amnesty?
Yeah. So
okay, so those aren't illegals.
Okay, well,
they're asylees. That's a difference.
Okay, well, either way, that was his whole purpose of not passing that bill. But besides that, you know,
it's a bad move. That was the only, literally, that was the bill that would have done the most we could have possibly done with legislation. Like, that would have gone a long way to solving whatever problem we have at the border. Yeah, so why would he want to stop it?
Well, I think that was his reason. That was his only reason.
No, absolutely not. So he wants to stop it because that's all he can run on. That's his bargaining chip, border security.
Well, there was that, and also, you know, drilling with the oil. You know what I mean? Just, you know, the power bills are, you know, pretty expensive nowadays, and
we drill more than they did under Trump's administration.
Well, supposedly he wants to drill more. You know what I mean? So,
but we're drilling more than he did now.
Well, there's still a future. I mean, who knows? Because he did go through a lot of I would say, you know, like like he was trying to drill more, but I believe there were some states that didn't allow him to, and yeah, I mean maybe that will change, especially since he got a couple of other people that were registered Democrats to support him now, and yeah,
No, he didn't.
I mean look at J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance was I think he called him like Hitler
Yeah,
or something like that.
J.D. Vance is a snake, and he did call him America's Hitler, and he still believes that.
I mean, you can say what you want, but he's, his VP, and I think he's come a long way. And I think,
JD Vance's only good point for being his running mate is that he knows which questions to avoid answering.
yeah, I mean, for the most part, like I said, he has had some, rhetoric that's, probably not the best for Trump. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's something about the, cat ladies or whatnot, but yeah, it's not good, for, women, because, it's up to you if you want to have babies or not. You know what I mean? It's completely your choice, but yeah, I think Trump will.
So you think abortion should be the choice of the mother?
I think so for sure. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
for the most part, you know what I mean? Like, I know Trump.
No, in every case, not for the most part.
Well, yeah, well, yeah, exactly for every case, but I think Trump did say that he just wants to leave it up to the states. You know what I mean? So let the states decide, so it'll give you more power in your,
No,
state.
it won't. So, no, that is actually a blatant limitation of rights, right? So Roe v. Wade was a federal protection for individuals. It wasn't the federal government mandating anything. It was the federal government mandating that states can't mandate anything up to a certain point. So that is returning it to the individuals. That's where individuals actually get power, right? If you return it to the states, they can outright ban abortion. So obviously it's a limitation of rights.
Well, I mean, I think it's better to just leave it to the states. To be honest, let the states decide. Because like,
why don't we just leave it up to the individuals?
I mean, I don't know. Well, I think most states are, they're not, like, let's say they're not for the. So there's some states, like let's say maybe like Georgia or something like that. They probably are not in favor of that, but
individuals within the state are pro-choice, right?
Yeah, they are.
So why don't we let them have the choice?
I mean, I guess in that part, I guess you guys are kind of right on that part, but I think it's just more like I think for Trump's kind of get his conservative vote and not also like it's kind of like tiptoeing around, like he's not trying to step on any toes.
How do you feel about Trump saying that we should fire all left-wing military members?
I think that's pretty bad. I mean, I think you guys should have the freedom to whatever you believe in, as long as you're serving for our country, it should be great. You know what I mean? But
yeah, hell yeah. So yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
how can you possibly vote for this guy? Like, what is there?
I'm telling you, like, I think it's just like the way this country's been shaping up, and the whole like, I'm not a big fan of Kamala. You know what I mean? Every time I hear her speaking, and she never answers questions directly. She's always talking about.
She does. She's answered plenty of questions directly.
I think in every question they ask her, she talks about her being from the middle class, and
you're disingenuous, dude.
I swear.
I would like for you to actually listen to her speak instead of just spouting what every other Trump supporter says, because she literally does answer almost every question she's asked directly.
Well, I just watched.
She might start with something else, and then if you stop listening, that's on you.
No, I watched
because sometimes you have to lead into an answer.
I watched the town hall that Anderson Cooper did on CNN, and yeah, even he was kind of disappointed, and a lot of the CNN commentators were kind of worried about her. That's what I'm saying. It's like I'm not coming from like a straight up right wing extremist, but I was open to the idea of a Democrat vote this year, but yeah, the way things are looking like, I think Trump will probably.
You're a fucking loser, dude. Oh my god. I should just not even entertain people who say, I voted for Biden and now I'm voting for Trump. No, you didn't. No, you did not. There's absolutely no way, based on what you were saying, that you voted for Biden. There's far less of a chance that you supported Yang. If you did, you would not be supporting Trump. It doesn't make sense. They're polar opposites. It literally makes absolutely zero sense. Like, just fucking figure it out, man. Figure out how to do this and, like, at least appear genuine. It's not hard.
How we doing?
Sama, how are you?
I'm doing well, brother.
How old are you?
I'm 34.
And pronouns?
He.
And vote?
Vote's gonna go to the big man, Donald Trump.
But how can you bring yourself to do that at this point?
Listen, I'm so glad you let me in because I guess, qualify myself as somebody that's been paying a lot of attention to this.
All right.
I do feel like this is one of the more important presidential elections, just given the climate of the world, right?
Yeah.
So first, I just want to get your classification and your definition of patriotic, if you could.
Patriot is somebody who supports all citizens of the U.S. and the Constitution upon which this great nation was founded.
That's a good definition. So let me start by saying that I believe both sides have said things that are unpatriotic. If you'll clarify, probably more than one time mentioned things that sound a little bit like a dictator.
Like? We can't hear what you're saying.
I feel like he said things idiotically, like, "Oh, I'll be a dictator." Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's better now.
Can you hear me now? Okay, sorry. So I know he said things in idiotic form, such as, I'll be a dictator on the first day of office and things like that, which is kind of irritating to have somebody who I believe does have a lot of intelligence still left in his brain, even at this age, to make statements like that, because people are going to take it for face value.
I don't think he does.
Well, I mean, we could agree to disagree on it.
I think he's doing as bad as Biden is.
I mean, when you get up to that age, we can only hope that we're all actually still, cognitively functioning. Let's just say that, right? But there are some things that definitely scare me when it comes to, but there are still things that scare me when it comes to the Biden and Harris administration and Harris running for president. One of those things was, we just had one of the biggest scares in our recent history with COVID-19 as a pandemic. And talking about my body, my choice, they made it mandated that people had to get a medical procedure or a vaccine. Yes, they did. That's 100% facts.
Nope.
You can't refute that.
The government didn't mandate the vaccine.
Yes, they did. If you work for the federal government, you are
mandated. Yeah. So yes, if you work directly for them, then yes. And hospitals were making you get the vaccine to continue work for them.
Yeah, but here's my question: if you have rights over your body and complete autonomy,
so hold on. No, because I have to address something else you said. So hospitals also technically work for the federal government because they take Medicaid, right? Mm-hmm. They take Medicare and Medicaid, which is a government-provided insurance program. So if these people are going to continue to, no, it isn't.
Yes, it is. It's anti-constitutional.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Nope. You have the right to refuse any medical procedure.
Absolutely not anti-constitutional. You're wrong.
So prove to me it isn't. Prove to me it isn't.
Because they didn't mandate it for anybody other than people working for them.
You already admitted that they did mandate it for hospitals, and you already mandated it.
So you didn't listen to what I said about hospitals, right?
I heard what you said, that they're all federal branch. So here's my question to you.
Okay, so they're federal.
Not your right.
That the government is allowed to set.
Your right as a human being.
Can you take it easy? Can we actually have a conversation?
I'm letting you speak, but you're speaking in circles right now.
Sama, can you shut the fuck up for a second? Let me speak.
Wow.
Yeah. Take it fucking easy, bud. Take it fucking easy, okay?
Okay, go ahead.
I think he's disgraced himself, to be honest with you.
We all need to laugh.
So as I was saying, it's not like the government mandated this for anybody who isn't, right, tied to the actual federal government.
Mm-hmm.
The end.
Okay, so I'm just letting you finish that. You done now?
I don't know. I might start talking again.
Okay, I just want to know because if we're gonna have a true debate that is, I go, you go, I go, you go. I'm gonna try.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say earlier, and you've already tossed that out the window.
Listen,
so
absolutely.
we don't have to abide by that because of what you've done here already. So
okay, so now that the rule's been broken, we can just interrupt each other freely. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, for sure. Until I kick you. Yeah.
Okay, of course. I mean, you have ultimate power over that. I mean,
Of course.
a lot of people do that, especially when they're taking an L. But
absolutely no L here so far. You're a piece of shit.
That's okay.
Go on.
So here's another thing that you can't refute at all. Kamala has said out of her own mouth. Kamala. I know you get triggered over the name.
No, you better show our sitting vice. No, shut up. You better show our sitting vice president the basest level of respect and say her goddamn name right. Okay. Say it again.
Got it.
Say it again.
Yeah. I mean, well, you're not going to force me to do anything.
Say it again.
You're not going to force me to do anything. You might as well just go ahead and kick me.
I did. I already did. If you're not going to show the sitting vice president of the United States the basest respect of saying their name right, then you've shown you're not a patriot. Everybody say it with me. You're not a patriot. All right, Skylar, how are you doing?
Yo, Goldilocks.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
How old are you?
29.
Pronouns?
I think I need a little bit of education on pronouns, but
Do you prefer to be referred to as he or she?
He.
He, him.
Yes. Perfect.
And who are you voting for?
Trump.
Why? How can you bring yourself to do that?
Well, all right. First off, let's just set the tone. You talk, I talk. I won't talk over you. But I do have my opinions, and I know you have your opinions, but I'm a business owner. And I've felt the effects the past 4 years, and I don't want that again. So that's why. I want change. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Are you done?
Yes.
Okay, so what kind of change has there been? Are you being taxed more under this current administration?
I want less taxes.
Are you being taxed more under this current administration?
Well, that's a good question because you, as a business owner, you can kind of work loopholes. So I wouldn't say that I'm taxed more.
Under the
but I would say that the cost of goods are more.
Under the current administration, has the tax policy changed?
I'm not concerned about that. I'm talking about the goods, the cost of goods.
Okay, so
listen to what I'm saying.
What do you think?
The cost of goods are more.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. So you're not being taxed more. What do you think caused inflation?
What?
What do you think caused inflation?
Terrible policy. And
really?
not knowing how to run it.
Yeah. So when did the initial inflation spike start?
Probably COVID.
Slightly after COVID, right? Well, it was still during COVID, but it was after the shutdown.
By the way, sorry about your dog.
Thank you.
Sorry about your dog. That sucks.
Thank you. Yeah, it does. We reopened the economy at a time when supply lines were cut basically to zero.
Mm-hmm.
So that does that.
For sure.
So huge inflation spike, prices were consistently rising, right? Do you know what inflation's at now?
I do not.
2.4%.
Okay.
Do you know what Trump got it down to?
What about the cost of goods staying the same though?
Do you know what Trump got inflation down to?
I don't.
1.9%. Do you know what you don't want from inflation?
What's that?
A negative value.
Okay.
That's a sign of a bad economy.
What about the cost of goods though?
That would be, so what you're saying is cost of goods staying the same or decreasing is negative inflation, right? You don't want that. You want inflation to stay very low for a long period of time because then you still have economic growth.
Okay. What about the cost of goods though being higher now? That's what my point is.
Yeah, inflation is lower now, right? So define inflation because this is not going anywhere right at the moment.
No, why isn't it going anywhere? I'm asking you a question. You
somebody,
have all the,
somebody,
you have the definition.
I love 8 Mike 6. He's yelling Jesus is Lord. I understand he was a Jew, but you don't have to say Jesus. So no, inflation. Do you know what the term is? Like, can you define the term?
No.
So inflation is the judgment of how much prices have risen over a given term, over a given period of time.
Okay.
So if inflation is at 2.4%, we can say prices over the given term have risen by 2.4%.
Okay.
So yes, prices are still rising, but you also don't want negative inflation because that's a sign of an economic downturn.
Sure.
So what you want is very low inflation for a very long period of time so that wages and stuff can keep up.
I agree 100%.
So it's low now, and it's been consistently lowering since the inflation spike, and quickly.
Okay, but that doesn't change the cost of goods, though. Do you understand? What do you do to make money?
Yes, it changes the rate of the. So again, we defined inflation, right?
Make money. Tell me how you make money.
No, hold on, because what you're saying is strange.
Tell me how you make money. Besides donations from.
Hold on, I have to reestablish this because what you're saying doesn't really make sense after we've established the definition, right? So we know that inflation is how much prices are rising over a given term. Obviously, prices are not staying the same if inflation is at 2.4%. Prices are still rising, right? Just slowly.
Okay, perfect. Now, tell me how you make money. Tell me what your job is. Tell me what you do for society besides come on here and get donations. And I'll tell you how I make money. And then we can compare that.
I'm not going to tell you what I do for a job.
Exactly. That's my point, brother.
What?
That's my point. That you make money off of donations. You don't go out and serve actual people.
No, I actually have a job, dude.
Problem.
Skylar, I have a job.
What do you do?
I'm not going to tell you that.
Why?
Because the right loves to dox people.
I'm not docking you, bro.
Dox.
Look,
Dox.
here's the deal.
DOXX. Skylar, fuck off with that. No, you don't.
I don't?
No, not if you're supporting Trump.
I could probably pay off your invitation right now for your dog, and I would, because I have the money to do it.
No, you would not. You can say that, sure.
But you're soft as fuck, and you won't open up. You're softy, bro. You would never talk to me like this in person.
I think
you would never talk to me like this in person.
Yeah, I would. I absolutely would.
Yeah, I would smack the fuck out of you.
No, you wouldn't. You ain't got shit, Skylar. You ain't got shit, dude.
That's the problem with Democrats.
Skylar ain't got shit, dude. This guy's weak, dude.
Let's move on.
Chat, this guy's weak. We're not moving on to anything. We're talking about this and how you're fucking weak, dude.
Okay.
Because you couldn't even avoid threatening me physically. You're a fucking weak ass.
Buddy, you hide behind a screen.
Yeah, you're a fucking weak ass.
You're soft. That's the problem. That's why people.
Skylar,
look, can I
are
say
you
something?
okay? Are you sad? Are you sad, Skylar?
Not really.
Are you sad? Are you sad because Daddy Biden increased your taxes?
Okay.
Are you sad, Skylar?
Maybe.
Skylar, are you sad?
All right, you ready to have a conversation yet, buddy?
Skylar! I'm just having fun with you because you're a weak ass.
All right. So this is the problem with left versus right. It's all about mentality, and this is why I'm.
All right. Ginger, how are you doing?
You know, I'm doing okay, minus the dick measuring, I guess.
Hell yeah. Yeah, when somebody threatens me physically, all cards are off the table. How old are you?
24.
And what are your pronouns?
She.
She, her? Who are you voting for?
Yeah. Trump.
How on earth can you bring yourself to do this at this point?
Well, I think that the framing of the question is a little dishonest of, like, how could you bring yourself to do that? I mean, that's your opinion, but overall, I definitely feel that the leadership in our country, comparative over the last 8 years, there was a big shift. I think that the last 4 years have been detrimentally worse of leadership than the previous 4 years. In a variety of ways, I think our border is a big issue. I think our foreign policy has gone downhill. Obviously, you've had many people come on here and talk about the economy. That's a major issue for voters right now.
Again, inflation is at 2.4%. What do you want it at?
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying people have talked to you about that already. So I'm not just going to echo chamber the same issue. So,
okay.
You know,
yeah. What do you want to talk about specifically then?
I think my major issues as a voter, I have 3. The border's number 1, because I live in a border state. Foreign policy, and also abortion.
Okay, so border. Why did Trump shut down the actual legitimate border legislation that would have gone a long way to solving the issue that he's running on?
Because that bill number 1 was going to allow thousands of people to cross the border before there was any actual funding increase or resource increase.
It wouldn't. You're being disingenuous. There was a cap. If you read the bill, there was a cap of an average of 5,000 per day for a week before you could shut down the border totally. That doesn't mean you have to let 5,000 people in per day, which is what you're framing it as.
Well, so why would they put a cap then if they were going to shut it down at 0?
What kind of question is that? What do you mean? Why would they put a cap if they're going to shut it down?
You're saying that they wouldn't have to wait until 5,000 to shut it down. So my question is, why did they put a cap then if the intent of the bill was that they'd shut it down?
No, I'm not saying they. That's not what I said. I'm saying they don't have to let 5,000 people in per day, right? It's not saying we mandate that you let 5,000 people in per day for a week and then shut it down. That doesn't make any sense. That's not legislation, right? They're just, if it happens to reach that cap, you can take an emergency action and totally shut it down. Do you think it should just be shut down to begin with?
I think right now we need that, yes. Because we have 10 million people over the last, the numbers vary between 6.5 and 10 million that have been let in over the last 4 years.
Yeah.
So sure. I think that we're at a point where we do need I'm not saying permanently just shut it down and lock up the shutters. I'm saying temporarily until we can get the issue fixed. We do need to take measures to mitigate the issue as much as possible, address the issues we have in the legislation, in, who's here, and, are there people who have been here productively and can stay? Are there people who are here that should not be here? And then we can then open up our border and have proper legislation to make pathways better and address the issues within the immigration system. But I think the first step that we need to take is to shut it down and address those issues first.
So the answer was yes. Okay, anyway. But, man. So you think we should shut down the border? You think we should let 0 people in? We can't even hear what you're saying anymore. At least you got 5 minutes of rant before we couldn't hear you anymore. See you later.
How about now? Hello?
Oh, you hopped in right at the end, but I had literally already kicked you. You were on a delay because we couldn't hear you at all at that point. So figure out your connection and then come back. We'll have you again. You were actually pretty intelligent about it. I did want to talk about that more, but we couldn't hear you. We couldn't hear you. I don't know what to tell you. Eddie, how are you doing?
Doing all right.
And how old are you?
19.
And what are your pronouns? Why the nervous laugh?
I'm not answering that question because it's fucking gay.
It's what?
Gay.
It's what?
All right, carry on. Let's have a debate, bud.
What are your pronouns?
All right, he, him. I'll be respectful. He, him.
Oh, okay. So you do understand the answer and you're just being a piece of shit. Okay. Yeah. So Trump supporters are not patriots. Unequivocally not patriots. Make a case for yourself.
Well, I think they are patriots because they want lower taxes. They want, they're out for like...
Kamala's lowering taxes for you and me. So what do you want?
Okay. How so?
She's giving tax breaks to literally everybody that makes less than $400,000 a year. So do you make more than that?
Where the economy is, with where the
Do
economy
you make
right
more
now,
than that?
With where the economy is
Do
right
you
now,
make more than that? Answer my questions.
With where the economy is right
Eddie,
now, answer my question.
Do you make more than $400,000 a year?
More than... No, I don't think
Okay,
anybody.
So she will lower your taxes. What was your second point?
With where the economy is right now, do you think she should be giving tax breaks?
Yeah, for sure. She has a plan to pay for all of them.
What's her plan?
She's raising the corporate tax rate to 28%.
Of course she is.
She's raising taxes on corporations to 28%, which is still very, very reasonable. It's not nowhere near the highest it's been.
Who said quit begging for money? What the fuck are you talking about? Okay, and ask another question.
Oh, that's that one's just done now. All right. What else do you want to talk about?
Well, I think Trump's gonna win because the border is fucked.
Okay, so he
by
stopped
the way.
the only legitimate legislation that could have been passed to solve the problem. So, what do you want?
I want the border locked down tight so none of these fucking Venezuelans can get in.
Do you realize that the Venezuelans you're talking about are asylees and so they're legal?
They're legal?
Yeah.
How are they legal?
The Venezuelans that you're referencing specifically, yeah.
Venezuelans that are camped out on the fucking sidewalks that are raping little white girls and murdering them?
You can't say that. Can't say that on a live. How about you gotta use the right language. I will talk about literally anything, but I can't have you saying some words, right? Because I will get banned. And you're doing it on purpose so that I get banned. So fuck off or re-request and do it right. Melvin, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good. How old are you?
41.
And what are your pronouns?
Him.
And who are you voting for?
Trump.
After all he's done against the American people and you specifically and me specifically and your mother specifically and your children if you have them specifically, how can you bring yourself to do that?
What has he done against us?
He tried to undermine your vote by instating false slates of electors and getting Mike Pence to certify them at the certification ceremony. He's been held civilly liable for grape, and so obviously that promotes grape culture in general. He stripped women of their bodily autonomy rights by removing Roe v. Wade. Need I go on?
It's your live. You can continue.
No, I asked,
I'm
go on?
asking for facts. I'm just...
Yeah, I think that's enough. You can go off of that.
I like to hear your side, so.
Yeah, I think that's enough for now. You can go based off of that. We want to hear what you have to say. We want to hear your side.
Okay, well, so you was talking about inflation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's at 2.4 now.
Mm-hmm.
What's that based off of? Like,
again, inflation is
last year?
Inflation is the judgment of how much prices have changed over a given time period.
What's the given time period?
Can you tell me that?
I'm asking you. I don't know.
Okay, you're the first person who's actually asked, so I will look it up because I've been waiting for anybody to tell me what the time period is, and I've kind of been holding on to that as like somebody must know this, right? But literally nobody's known it. So I'll actually look it up. But in any case, it's inflation is almost as low as Trump ever had it. So let's go based off of that while I look this up. What do you think?
I'm not sure because that's one thing that I want to know because I'm kind of independent, but I really I'm leaning towards the right. So it's just I'm not sure. I'll just say this. I'm not 100% towards Trump yet, but
that it? Why? So the rights, the stripping away actual human rights is not enough. You're considering voting for him based on the economy when he's actually removing human rights and in favor of removing a constitution. And says he will fire left-wing military members.
Did you find the...
I'm still looking it up, but I need to keep this going.
Okay, I'm sorry. I did not know that. I was just I thought we was going off one question here.
So no, not necessarily. I'm looking at the Fed's definition of inflation, and it still doesn't say anything about how long the term is. So I can't find it there. If anybody in the chat knows where I can find this, would love to hear it. Actually, like if anybody
I
can
would
provide
love
me
to
a
hear it.
source for how long the term is. Inflation is month to month. Peter says month to month. Guillermo says year over year, which would make sense. I would expect year over year, but I'm just honestly not sure. More people are saying year over year. I'll take that.
That's crazy. So whenever COVID hit, everything went skyrocket, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
well, it's more when we reopen the economy, right? We reopened the economy after the shutdowns, and we had crippled supply lines. So limited supply and greatly increased demand. It's terrible for inflation.
okay. Well, why haven't prices really gone down that much on like groceries and stuff like that?
Yeah, because as we said, inflation is the judgment of how much they're increasing, right? You don't want prices to go down too much, right? You don't want inflation to be negative. You want inflation to be low for a long period of time.
Right.
And we finally got it low again.
But do our wages reflect that?
I don't know. I'm doing fine.
Well, that's person to person, but you know, it whenever you work for a company, and I'm not saying anything against you. This is just my point of view. Companies are still going to demand the same amount out of people and pay them the same wages or close to the same wages as they was a year ago, 2 years ago, 4 years ago.
Okay, so it looks like wages rising is only slightly behind inflation. Prices have risen about 20% since the start of post-pandemic inflation surge, and wages have increased by about 17.4%. Obviously, that gap will close now that we have a lower inflation rate.
I'm curious as to what that was before the minimum wage increase.
Which minimum wage increase?
California had
the federal minimum wage is still $7.25, as far as I'm aware.
No, I did not know that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Biden increased the federal minimum wage, the minimum wage for federal workers specifically. He increased it to 10, and then it steps to 15.
Federal workers specifically.
Yep.
So that's not like your average worker?
Right. Well, I mean, a lot of federal workers are below average workers in terms of wages, which is kind of why it needed to happen. But yes, the actual federal minimum wage also needs to increase for sure. That's harder legislation to pass.
Correct. I agree with that. Do you think Kamala can do that?
Kamala, and I think that she will push for it. That's the important thing. I think she'll push for these things. Because there's no guarantee of anybody being able to pass anything.
Exactly. I agree with that 100%. Because everybody's so extreme one way or the other, and that to me, that's kind of a problem.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's just the nature of a bipartisan government. That's why we have to do away with the bipartisan nature of our government.
What do you think we should do to get people to come together?
We should eliminate the two-party system. We should just have individuals running on an individual platform.
I agree with that 100%. So why are you voting for Kamala?
And it's because we still have a bipartisan system. You can't just opt out and then expect that to change. You have to change that by electing people who you think are the most likely to push for that.
And you think that she's more likely to do that
than Trump?
I'm not saying against anybody else. I'm just saying, is she more likely to do that?
I think she's, well, it's important because, again, we're talking about a bipartisan context. So in this context, I think she's far more likely to push for legislation that I agree with, including that, than Trump. I don't think Trump would ever possibly push for, stuff like ranked choice voting. That's not a thing that Republicans have ever been down with.
And what makes you think that?
Because they've said it. Like, just Republicans overwhelmingly have said they're against that.
When?
In interviews.
Okay.
I mean, it depends on the specific Republican we're talking about. But I've heard many Republicans say that. Usually Democrats just avoid the question because they don't want to say no. But most of them are also against it. But I think more Democrats overwhelmingly are would at least be willing to look at that legislation.
Okay, so you just said something. Democrats avoiding questions.
That question specifically.
Both parties do.
Yeah.
But why do they avoid it? Do you what?
Because they don't want to outright say no, right? Because that'll turn people off.
But if you don't agree with something, why would you even? I mean,
because they're elected officials. You have to. You literally have to pander for a vote. Like, that is a requirement of the job. You can't get elected without avoiding saying some wrong things and without saying some very right things that maybe you don't necessarily agree with, but you know your constituents do.
I'm glad you just said that because that goes for both parties, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So how can you... I'm wondering.
Because Trump is an outright liar who lies about everything he says. Whereas Kamala, I think, actually believes most of the things she says.
Okay. You think that she believes most of what she says, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you said Trump lies about everything.
Yeah, but basically.
So what's he lie about?
He said they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the pets. That's an outright lie. No, there isn't. There's one video.
Yes, there is.
No, there's one video of a U.S. citizen eating a cat.
There's videos of it.
No, there isn't.
I've seen it.
No, you haven't. They've been debunked. I don't know what to tell you.
Nice. Okay. Well, I'm not going to argue about it, but I mean, there's ways.
Why are you watching videos of people eating animals anyway?
Yeah, it just popped up.
And you watched it?
I watched it.
You were curious?
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, why am I watching your video?
I don't know. Good to have you.
Exactly. So I find things curious. I like to ask questions, so
yeah,
that's why I'm here. But thank you very much.
Yeah, have a good one. It's been it's actually been a legitimately good talk. Have a good one.
I appreciate it.
See you. Somebody told me to block the guy who openly said the obviously TikTok inappropriate words earlier, but I honestly don't remember who it was. I know Operation Expose has been spouting some weird stuff in the chat. So how would you know that they've been debunked if you haven't even seen the videos in question? Because I listen to a lot of stuff. I have listened to both sides on these issues, and I know they have been debunked. The end. Let's bring this person up here. Again, doggo leg amputation is $5,000. We're basically getting the best board certified doctor in our area to do it. We're doing what's right by him. If you have anything to help out, it's all greatly appreciated for sure. Jay, how are you doing?
Good. How about yourself?
Pretty good. How old are you?
I'm 26 years old.
And pronouns?
He, him.
And who are you voting for?
I am voting for Trump.
But how on earth can you bring yourself to do that?
Well, I will tell you. It's. I believe in some of his policies that he had during his 2017-2021 administration.
Like?
Well, there's a lot. I know you kind of talked about it with other panel members. A lot of it was I wouldn't say misinformation. I believe people were misinformed. Like, for example, the border. We can talk about the border, for policy, the economy. I like what he did with veteran programs, considering they helped me a lot. And that's a little biased, but
what do you think about the PACT Act for veterans programs?
I think the PACT Act is a good, decent thing. I mean, I don't think Biden did anything wrong with the PACT Act. I mean, there is some discrepancies, but I don't think that takes away the entire thing.
Okay, chill. Yeah. Pick one. What topic?
Let's talk about the border, so I can help kind of clear up some information. Not just you. I mean, there's also people on the right who just don't know necessarily what they're talking about. So it's a little frustrating because you have people representing that on TikTok. The border. So yes, there is an issue at the border, but a lot of people don't understand that it's about this whole idea of closing and opening the border. You don't close the border. That's not what you're supposed to do.
That's not a thing we can really do.
Yeah, and it's just like the context of what they're saying is closing the border is to stop illegal migration, but they don't understand is that illegal migration doesn't just come through the ports of entry. It comes in between ports of entry. Yeah. You can try and close that border, or at least have more manning on it to stop illegal migration. But at that same time, it just comes down to policy, and that's kind of what I was going off to here. But I don't mean to overtalk. If you want to add something, please. But
no, that's fine. What do you think about the bill?
The border bill that was shut down.
Yeah.
Okay, so this I don't find it as a good argument, and the reason why I'm stating this is because one, whether some people, for whatever reason, people believe it was a standalone bill when it was in conjunction of another bill, but that's besides the point. I don't understand how people can say, "Hey," on the opposition.
Hold on. What bill was it in conjunction with?
I believe it was with funding to Israel and Ukraine.
They were actually standalone bills. They were separated.
But I thought they were in conjunction with one another.
They started out that way and eventually were separated, and the provisions for aid passed, and then the Langford border bill was shut down.
So, and the reason why I don't think it's a good argument, because a lot of people say that the border bill that was shut down was it was supposed to give more funding. It was supposed to give more border patrol agents to the border. And this is where I kind of find it redundant, because we have more funding now and more border patrol agents at the border now than we did under Trump. So it's a little redundant to say, hey, this could give them more ammunition when they already have sufficient ammunition to deal with the massive migration that's coming over the border. And if you want to, and I believe someone already said it earlier, which is really well, 6.5 to 11.7, I believe, of the total amount of migrants coming over the border. And the talks about asylum seekers, right? I think that is a huge generalization of what is actually happening. Approximately 32 to 38% of all migration that's coming over the border are actually seeking asylum.
Right, but when people say 10 to 6 to 10 million, 10 to 20 million, they're also lumping in asylees, and Trump tends to do that as well.
Sure, but the issue with asylees is that only, and as per the CBP, and I will state my references. I'm looking at the Department of Homeland Security, U.S. Border Customs and Protection, and I'm also looking at ICE records, because they are, it's Immigration Customs, and I forget what the E stands for, but all these work together and will give you a rough estimate of what is happening with the border. What I'm stating is that asylum seekers, ranging from 32 to 38% of, let's say, for example, 2021, about 1.7 million encounters were happening over the border, but that doesn't mean legal action. Well, if you in fact look at legal action, approximately of that 1.7 million was 1.5 million. So that's about a 95 to 100%, consistency of what is coming over the border that is actually met with law enforcement action. And that can be detainment or apprehension. Usually they're booked and then they're set free. The difference here between the Biden and Harris administration versus the Trump-Pence administration was that policy. There were zero tolerance policies, the MPP, and other, you have the RAISE Act, the Save and Future America Act, but those did not contribute more than the MPP and the zero tolerance policies. So I think it's more about policies, and what I'm going to circle back to about how the border bill and the extra border patrol agents and more funding. If Trump was able to have less funding and less border patrol agents while also maintaining border security a lot more effectively than the Biden and Harris administration has, I think you can make a valid argument.
Okay, so Trump's encounters at the border were also 1/10 year over year?
It was, they were consistent. They were consistently growing. And then they were backed down due to Title 42 in 2021, I believe, towards the end of his presidency. And Biden had used Title 42 again just this year, or just last year, 2023. Sorry if I'm boring or if I'm talking too much. I mean, we can.
Yeah, it's too much. He had, so just year over year average, Trump had like far less encounters, right? So the problem, you can say they have more border agents now and it's still a problem, right? So it's probably policy. But no, it's just a massive influx. Like, we're dealing with something that hasn't been dealt with before. This is not something we have a frame of reference for, and Trump's policies wouldn't have fixed it.
Well, this is where I disagree. I should have said this, and it's because of deportations. If you specifically look at ICE during Trump's administration and then Biden's administration, you'll notice that the amount of encounters and legal action is met proportionately with the amount of deportations through ICE. You can't necessarily say that with the Biden-Harris administration until but Title 42 being used last year, because in 2021, there was about 50,000 deportations versus the 1.7 million coming across. And then it bumped up to 90,000 deportations the next year, and it was another 1.4 million of the such. But in 2023, when people started taking notice of what was happening, Biden used Title 42 and actually deported 1.1, depending on what you look at. It's 600,000 to 1.1 million deportations, which is huge. It's significant. So the issue is deportations matching up with legal action and what's coming across with the encounters. So that's kind of what I'm going on here. I know it's a lot of information, but I, for whatever reason, have a hobby of coming up here and talking about politics for the moment. So we can move on if you want, or we can continue. I know I'm not the greatest debater, or not the greatest debater, but the greatest person at enticing arguments and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of information. I still think that I don't think that you've shown that Trump was better at this. I just don't think you have. I think the Langford border bill did more than you're saying it did. And I think that glossing over that is slightly disingenuous. But you do have a lot of facts.
I wouldn't say the reason why I say Trump, or I think, and you're entitled to that, and that's fine. I think Trump did better because it was the MPP and the zero tolerance policies. If a border patrol agent had come across people that were coming not through the ports of entry, they were automatically kicked back regardless if they were seeking asylum or if they're going to claim that or not. And what I wanted to say about asylum seekers is that even though it's 32 to 38% of the totality of all the encounters, only 15 to 23, depending on the CBP, or I should say, depending on the years, are actually allowed to seek asylum there. And so that's what was the issue now, is that the asylum seekers are no longer being, I would say, proportionate to what's actually being claimed. But again, I think those policies were better under Trump, and if you think otherwise, then that's fine. But yeah, we can talk about other things if you want, or I can let someone come up here. Again, I don't want you to lose views over me because I like to have a civil discourse.
Yeah. I mean, people just spitting facts never does well for the views. But it is good. It's good to hear all of this. And from what I can tell, I've read all these things too. And from what I can tell, your facts are correct. Like there are some people saying in the chat that you're lying, but I'm pretty sure everything you said has been verifiably true, at least according to actual government sources. Now, there is a problem with looking at the Department of Homeland Security's page because it's obviously biased. I mean, the bias drips from that entire page. It's amazing. And also, one might say the Department of Homeland Security is in charge of border security. One might say that.
Yeah, I mean, in total, yes, it does stem down from the Department of Homeland Security, and it goes down to border protection and all that stuff.
And then, of course, on the page you have Mayorkas outright blaming Kamala specifically,
which is really bad taste, in my opinion.
It's wildly unprofessional. I'm not even going to say that he's wrong or right, but it's definitely wildly unprofessional the way the site's written.
Yeah, I mean, like that just doesn't work well. So, but
what about abortion? What do you think about removal of Roe v. Wade?
So this is going to come off weird, right? This is going to come off really weird, and I say this because I try and be consistent with my morals and principles. So I would say that I am pro-choice out of principle, not because of the thought that women or there's abortion is somehow protected by federal statutes, right? Because it was overturned.
It's not.
It's not. It was about privacy, and then that by association, abortion was kind of put into that, was put into that situation, and made it protected. So I am pro-choice simply because that society makes judgments. We come together as society to move forward, both through technological advancements, evolution, social norms, the whole nine. And what I'm getting at here is that for example, do you believe in capital punishment? And you don't have to answer this, is rhetorical. I do, right? I believe in capital punishment, but because I believe in capital punishment, to where I allow that society makes and casts these judgments, I believe society also has the right to make that decision on whether a woman has a right to make an abortion or to have an abortion.
I do want to answer that. I have no problem with capital punishment, right? If somebody commits a crime so heinous, now what we ascribe as capital punishment being a valid retribution for, right? There are certain lines, but if somebody commits something so heinous that an actual jury decides that they should be eligible for that as an actual option for punishment, then yeah, I have no problem with that. But as for abortion, I don't think you can take this route that you're about to take.
I think I can because it stems from this. It stems from that society and globally has dictated that every human has the right to life. Okay, that is a foundational, basic human right. You as a person have the right to life no matter what. Okay, and if you were to use that basic human right to life for the argument against abortion, well, you have a solid argument. However, I disagree because society, it doesn't matter if it's about retribution or not. There's no clause in the Constitution or any global agreement about the basic human right to life that says, there's an exception. If you're a heinous criminal or if you're a vegetable or, it doesn't matter. It's a human and they have the right to life. Mm-hmm. And that's why I believe that women have that right to determine if they want one or not because society dictates it. If it comes back down to the states, because technically it was never supposed to be federally protected, and the people vote for it, then they have the absolute reason to do it. I don't see an issue with that. It's what the people want in their states, and if it becomes into legislation, then I would agree.
Okay, so you're fine with legislation on bodily autonomy at the state level, but you're not fine with it on a federal level.
It's not that I'm not fine with it on a federal level. I'm fine with it being on a federal level if it is voted for on a federal level. If enough states collectively agree on a state level and push it onto federal legislation, then I'm for it. But I am pro-choice. I don't see.
So you're not fine with bodily autonomy being decided by the Supreme Court.
I think I might not understand that correctly, but I'll
so
give it my
you think the Roe v. Wade decision should have been removed?
Yes. If it's for abortion, the right to privacy, I agree with. That should stay implemented. A person with their healthcare provider, and in terms of bodily autonomy, whether it's for themselves, I think I can agree that they should have it. However, a child adds on a little mixture of the situation because it is another human life. It is, whether you want to say it's from the beginning of conception at 2 to 3 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever the case may be till 9 weeks, the DNA is the same. Therefore, they are fundamentally protected by the basic human right to life. And again, I stated that because society dictates these tough decisions, then they have the right to have an abortion. Does that make sense? I believe people should.
I don't believe that it should be legislated at all. So at this point, it has to be legislated at the federal level as a protection, according to me, right? Because the protection has been removed. The protection was there and it has been removed. So now we have a requirement to legislate it. Republicans require us to legislate it now, right? So hopefully we can pass that, but it shouldn't be legislated at all. It should be something that is immune to legislation. You're legislating what somebody can do with their body. That is just outright wrong.
Well, I don't see that necessarily, because even men before 2020 or before Trump's administration, actually, Trump's administration added women to combat roles, right? If you hadn't heard, and I'm going to tie this into what I'm talking about. They also added them to the draft. Men, for the longest time, didn't have bodily autonomy when it came to war. I believe Owens made a good point about that, saying, hey, a man doesn't have the right to his body in case of a country going to war with another. So they are drafted and potentially being put in danger and losing their life. Now, that is kind of the situation. Like, well, we don't technically do have the right to bodily autonomy because our country dictates it. Do I agree with it? Is besides the point. But that's kind of where I'm at in terms of these situations. A baby is a lot different than a criminal. You know what I mean? They're based on process, whether they did a heinous crime for retribution, or yada yada, versus an innocent life that hasn't fully developed yet. And that's just where a tough conversation is. And I just.
What about trans rights?
What about them?
Again, it's exactly the same argument. Do you think that anybody should have the right to do whatever they want to their own body?
I mean, yes, within I wouldn't say moderation, but within reason, I think.
What does that mean? What is reasonable for me to want to do with my own body?
Well, that's a thing. The U.S. government does not allow bodily modifications, and I'm not talking about trans people transitioning from one gender to the other. I'm talking about. Have you ever seen the person? This is gonna be weird.
I know what you're talking about. I know body mods.
Yeah, so that's not allowed in the U.S. for multiple reasons, right? It's like
what are the multiple reasons? Health hazard.
Health hazards. I believe actually it's one of the biggest reasons, if not. But health hazards, and whether the operation to do this or not is going to be, healthy in the long run.
Okay, so all of these things can be done safely.
They can be. I'm not saying that, but they are not allowed by the federal government, right?
Right, but that's wrong. That's what I'm saying is wrong.
I think it's more of a liability point or issue, is that if that person wants something, right, even though it's going to have adverse health effects on them, but they want it anyways, and it can be done safely, it becomes a liability issue because, hey, this company did this despite professional recommendations, and they end up getting hurt anyways. You see what I'm saying? So
the company has to deal with the liability. Why should we be legislating that?
Because there's far too many. I think you would agree. There's far too many people in the world that would say, yes, I want to do this, and then they end up not liking it and then end up suing the company would never survive, right?
Well, yeah, but that's up to them. So why should we be legislating it? They can just not do it.
Because I think it would be more of a hassle for the court system in the United States to deal with this ongoing, predicament rather than just getting rid of it all. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like that's.
I don't think it would be. I really don't think it would be that much of a problem. I just
court system is highly contested, but
the basis of this whole argument is just let me do what I want with my body, please.
And I think that's, I wouldn't say redundant, but I don't see how that's a good argument at a point when we already have laws enacted that says, hey, a woman doesn't have a right to bodily autonomy, neither does a man when it comes to, drafting a person.
Oh yeah, I don't think we should sign up for the draft either.
Yeah, but then, that's just what it's at right now.
That's an argument for my argument.
But again, what I'm stating at is that I'm already on the side of your argument. I am just disagreeing with the ideas that saying, hey, it's about bodily autonomy when we don't necessarily have that.
I don't like when people do this. I don't like when people try to say, well, I'm agreeing with you. You're just not hearing why I'm disagreeing with you.
No, you get what I'm saying.
That's not a thing.
I just disagree. It is a thing because I'm just disagreeing with your points and you have your own points. I mean, I don't have to influence you to like change your mind. I'm just I'm trying to give you a perspective of what I believe. And I think that's just fine.
Interesting.
But
Jay, I feel like you're very educated and you definitely look into these things a lot, but I don't know, man. I don't know. There's some kind of block. There's some kind of block there because Trump tried to steal the vote. Is that not enough on its own?
So I don't think it is because I don't necessarily think he would steal the vote, right?
He tried to.
Again, and he's going to go through due process. And if he is found guilty of trying to do that, then yeah, you can.
We know he did that. We absolutely know he did that, Jay.
I'm saying with due process, if he effectively tried to do this and he tried to undermine the Constitution.
No, it's not. Again, it's the words you're using. It's not if. We know he did it. He's saying he did it.
And if, I believe, who talked about this just recently? Parker. No, Ben Shapiro.
Parker and Dean always talk about this.
No.
Parker actually debated Ben at the thing?
Yeah, it was
nice.
Both of them, actually. Dean and Parker both debated Ben Shapiro. And Ben Shapiro kind of stated this a lot better than what was being claimed. And he stated that he believed that Trump personally believed, this is from what I'm understanding, Trump believed that he thought that the Constitution was already undermined because he believed that the election was indeed stolen.
And so he may be justified to instate false slates of electors for states?
And again, I'm not going to go into that whole legislative background because I did not do my due diligence on looking the entire thing up. Oh boy.
Okay. So yeah, so this is still an ongoing case, right? But the defense is not that he didn't do it. The defense is that he was acting under official capacity.
Give me 1 second. I apologize. No, sorry. I had to step out for a minute.
Yeah, so the defense is that he was acting under official capacity, right? Because he got his Supreme Court, which is now almost half installed by him, to agree that acts under official presidential capacity should be immune.
So he was, again, from what my understanding is that, and Ben, how Ben explained it, and I'm going based off of them. And if I don't say this perfectly, then I apologize. But from what I understand is that Ben Shapiro stated that the systems in place weren't undermined. He sent people over there to find out whether the electoral votes.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was I thought it was me. He thought that the electoral votes were, or not the electoral votes. He thought that it was undermined, so he sent electors over there to either A, find out what's really going on, or B, trying to flip the election. I don't know. I have to wait for his court case to be fully done or sorry, I have to wait till his case is fully going through to be able to give you or for me to fully understand and to give you a better explanation from my position.
That's interesting. You've been very educated on every topic so far, but this one has eluded your grasp.
The reason why it's eluded my grasp necessarily is because I have been researching other things to especially the economy, because the economy, for why I agree with Trump, is very vast and there is a lot of complexities into it.
It's wild that you would choose to look up economic factors when actual human rights are at stake.
Well, no.
Do you think that actual human rights might trump the economy? For lack of a better word.
Well, before I answer that question, I'm not choosing to look at the economy over what's going on now. I just haven't had time to do it yet. And I like to do my due diligence and make a formal understanding of it before I start talking about it and giving my opinion, because one, I don't want to be...
Jay, you've had plenty of time.
I actually haven't, unfortunately. It has been a long 6 months. So I try and get as much. Well, I know, but again, this is not me avoiding the situation. It's just I haven't done my due diligence.
Interesting. We're very close to the election, so I would encourage everybody in the chat to look up the false elector scheme. Get as much information as you can on it, because it would have undermined the votes of every single U.S. citizen.
And it's
blatantly unconstitutional, and that's why Mike Pence didn't certify those electoral votes.
Well, if you look at, and I'm going to say this real quick. Ben Shapiro made a great argument for what was happening. Right? If you have the time, please go watch it. Ben Shapiro,
I don't think Ben Shapiro ever makes a good argument, but I will watch it.
I think anybody who has a voice and is able to understand things, I mean, even if they don't, they're capable of making a good point regardless.
I've listened to a lot of Ben Shapiro, and I've never heard him actually do a great job. He just talks very fast.
But I'm not necessarily undecided. Or sorry, I'm looking at Diana. I shouldn't have. What I was going to state was that, the thought of stealing the election. If I remember correctly, right, 2016 when Hillary lost, a lot of the DOJ, not just the DOJ, but a lot of people were claiming that the election was stolen. Trump actually went through 2 years of a legal court battle just to prove that he didn't do this. So I think it's hypocritical to state that, hey, this is the first time in history, or this is, that we do this, and, we're going to forget everything that happened between 2016 through 2022 to state that, hey, we've never, we're free of guilt and hypocrisy.
Yeah, I feel that. I don't forget that. I know what happened, and I'm not saying that was good either, but recounts and everything, fine. Questioning the results of the election, fine. Questioning the results in a specific state, or 7 of them, totally fine. Well within your rights. Trying to draft false slates of electoral votes, definitely not fine.
I would agree with that. And if he's found legal in full capacity of doing that, then, or legally not liable but guilty of, then yeah, I mean, I would say that's very unconstitutional. I do think politicians already do unconstitutional things, when they try and make interpretations of constitutional rights, but that's besides the point.
Well, Jay, it's been good, but I have to leave at this point. I gotta end.
Okay. Well, I apologize for taking up most of your time.
No, it's fine. It's been good. You're obviously very educated on at least a few of these topics. I would like to have you up again to talk about other things.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I think I did really well with arguing my point, and I think you did too. So
have a good one. I'll see you soon enough, everybody. Okay, I'll see you soon enough. Okay, but I gotta end for now. We got a party to get to, a Halloween party to get to. Okay, we're gonna have some fun tonight. Okay, join the give me a follow, join the team, join the Discord. Hit my picture again after you follow. Hit the buttons again after you follow. I have the Discord link in my bio. Hit on it. It'll open the app. It'll tell you you're joining a server. Just say okay, and you'll be in it. And then I'll say hi, and we'll all have a great time, okay? And until next time, don't worry, Meds. I am letting my husband drive to the party. I'm letting my husband drive, okay? You don't need to worry about me. I will see you all later, and until next time, stay golden. All right? Just for me. Like, if you do one thing,